Welcome, YouTube family. Once again, this is another video from the Kevin Strong Show. And in this video, we're going to talk about student loan debt. Some of us are going to have to pay student loan debt until we can no longer take a breath. So what do I mean by that? Let's start off with how bad the crisis is as it relates to student loan debt. We have about 1.7 or $1.8 trillion worth of student loan debt that needs to be paid back. Out of that amount, about 1.6 trillion is federal student loan debt. So the reason why the federal student loan debt is such an important component to that overall debt amount is because federal student loans are very difficult to discharge. And more importantly, there are people who are on Social Security right now on fixed income that are paying student loans. And that's why I titled this video, Student Loans. Basically, you're going to have to pay it until your last breath. I'm just kind of cleaning it up not to sound so morbid. So the federal government, under the Department of Education, does have the right, even in the event that you're on a fixed income, i.e. Social Security check, that they can garnish up to 15% of your monthly check to go towards offsetting student loan delinquencies. This is why this is a growing problem. We have almost $8.6 billion that is allocated for student loan debt for people over the age of 60. There's one story on YouTube. This one lady went back to get her master's degree in her mid 50s. 20 years later, she's still $40,000 in debt and has no idea how she's going to be able to pay that money back. I think she has a master's degree and she works in as a social worker somewhere, I think in Southern California. So student loan debt is a very, very serious thing. I always encourage people to be careful about that. You could saddle your kids with a lot of debt if you have the ability to get grants, but you also have the ability to pay for your child's education up front. I wouldn't do that. Personally, I would have them take out loans if they qualify for them. And then once they complete their education, before that first payment is due, which is typically 6 months after you graduate from college, I would pay off the student loans. I would not front load my hard-earned money after taxes to education only to see a child in their second or third year say, hey, this isn't for me. I think I'm going to drop out and do something else. That opportunity cost that was associated with that money that you front loaded to pay for the education, you cannot get that back. And if you're on the hook for any type of student loans in the form of being a co-signer or something like that, voila, there you go. So you really have to think about this and understand the economic realities around some of these degrees that some of these kids are getting. Some of them just are unsustainable in terms of you having a quality of life. There's nothing wrong with teaching music, and if that's your passion, you know, I support that 100%. But the economic reality to that choice is don't expect to have a house on the lake if you're going to go with that career path. So we're going to switch gears a little bit here, and we're going to actually talk about some interesting information, some historical numbers as it relates to federal student loan borrowers' debt. Look at this graph here. It is unbelievable. So right when we were coming out of the great financial recession in 2008 or 2009, I actually shouldn't say coming out, when we're going into the Great Recession, you could see a significant spike in federal student loan borrowers. And look at that ride all the way up. And now it's starting to slowly roll over. I think one of the reasons why so many people have increased their federal student loan debt is because quite frankly, it's pretty easy to get the money. And these institutions have been rising or raising their tuition on a yearly basis just at an astronomical rate because they know at the end of the day, all of this money is backed by the federal government. So if they actually had to do a risk credit assessment on each student, I guarantee you tuition would not be as high as it is, but that goes for another story. So it's just unbelievable. I also want to finally talk about debt as it relates to your educational achievements, because this is a very, very interesting graph. As you can see here, the associate degree and the certificate make up almost $900 million of student loan debt. And as you get higher on your educational accomplishment, the student loan debt kind of starts to trickle down. One aspect that you can extract from this graph is that the higher educational achievement that you get, the more money you're going to make. And the more money you're going to make over that lifetime, over your lifetime, you're more likely to be able to pay back your student loan debt. So it's happening down here at the associate degree and these certificate levels, and some of these schools that are for profit are just basically taking advantage of people, giving them false hope about certain degrees are going to get them some type of starting salary that's just not realistic. But once again, I think these people in this area are getting preyed upon, and that's really, really a sad note. And finally, let's wrap this up with student loan debt across demographics. The majority of student loans are held by women, not men, as you can see here. And because of this video, I'm going to jump down here to this age bracket one more time and look at that. About 8.3 million, okay? Between the ages, as you can see, 50 and 62. So once again, please be careful. Do not sign off on these student loans for your kids and for your grandkids. It's just not a good look. And if you can avoid it, please do so. Also keep in mind that if you do get behind on your student loan payments, the federal government does have the right to offset or seize your federal tax refund if you are due such a refund. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you really enjoyed it. I tried to make this a little bit shorter than the other one. Please subscribe and share because I care. I'm going to continue to give you guys good, solid content. The tagline for this show is topics you can trust. This was the Kevin Strong Show, and I'll see you in the next video.